Hi, hello, it's Pip here from Queen Pip Cards. Thanks ever so much for tuning in today. If you joined me last time on the video, then you will have seen me making this cute little coffin box. Okay, yes, I said coffin box. It's a lovely coffin shaped little box, and after the video I decided to just finish it off by putting some of these little dots on, and these are from the Monster Bash enamel shapes. Okay, so you get these dots of grey and black, and you get little ravens, you get some skull and crossbones, and some they're gravestones basically, but they've also got things on them like pirates and spiders and various bits and pieces. So I thought actually this just needed a little extra bit of bling, bit of glittery stuff, or shiny stuff really. So I just popped a few of those on, and I started off with one on the eye. So there we go. So that's what we made last time, and I promised you I'd show you something else to do with the coffin boxes. So I'm not actually going to make up a coffin box as such, but what I've done is I've taken this and I've chopped off all the tabs apart from this one just here on the lid. Okay, and then what that gives you is that, which if you then glue that tab to that, you then have a lovely little coffin shaped card. How cute is that? But the really important thing is that before you stick it together is that you're going to use this to cut out your paper, okay, so it fits onto your front, and you're going to cut out some card so it fits on the inside. Now, is this big enough, or do I need a bigger piece? Nope, need a bigger piece. Thought I might. A bit fatter. Is that going to fit? Yes, that's going to fit. So once you've got to this, then it's just a simple as going around the edges with a pencil. Don't forget the bottom, that's important. Like that. And then you're just going to cut inside the lines. And we go inside the lines because then it's smaller than the backing. And don't worry about getting them perfectly straight, because we're going to rough them up like we did last week anyway, and daub the edges, so it doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going to look a bit shoddy really, but in a good way, in a Monster Bash sort of a way, because it's a coffin at the end of the day, isn't it? So you know, you need it to be a little bit rough and ready around the edges. Okay, so just go across the base there. And then that gives you your inner piece, which is going to sit on here. Okay, that's perfect. You could actually cut it a little bit smaller and have a bit more of an edge. I might just chop off a little bit more of that, because we don't want the side to get too jammed up when we put the side on it. So just follow your edge all the way around. You will need to do all the way around because it is not an even shape, if you see what I mean. So you've got to make sure you come and do all the edges. There we go, that's not bad. Still pretty close, but that's okay. That's just enough really, so that when that closes over it's not catching on that edge. And of course your front will be slightly bigger than your back, because your back is the inside of a box and the top is from the front is from the lid of the box, so it will be slightly larger anyway, so that's cool. Alrighty, so now we can get on and start decorating this. And I've cut a piece of paper for the front. Okay, so that's exactly the same. Then we've got the card from the inside, and I've also taken a couple of these elements from the Monster Bash papers that I told you about. And what I want to do is I sort of want to put this one on the outside. No, this one on the outside, and then a skeleton on the inside. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to chop him out. Now it's not an exact fit, okay, because they're not designed to be exactly the same, but they are close enough that you can get a pretty good frame using these ornate frames. These ornate frames they are actually a Halloween set, although you can use them quite frankly for any frame. And they're actually designed to go with the stamp set, but I didn't get that stamp set. I decided to get the other stamp set with the Wicked dies instead. But these will chop out some of these images quite nicely. So we'll just take that out there, and then take that down there. Oh no. And then I'm going to do the ornate piece, this piece, and I'm going to do this from somewhere here. I have a piece of smoky slate. Here we go. So I'll just pop that so. There's no real right or wrong way to do these dies. All I would say is that they are ornate, so make sure that you put them in the middle of your machine, whether that's a Big Shot, Cuttlebug, whatever you have. And I would probably go forward and then I'd go back. And I'm sorry that I'm jogging the table so much. But you can see, look how easily they just pop out. Just like that. So we'll get rid of those bits. Right, put this down so we don't need that anymore. Okay. So this ornate frame, okay, which is very ornate, and it has come out. It just needs the extra little bits poking. Just these twiddly bits are because they just get caught up in each other, if you see what I mean, in their opposites. There we go. That's it. Oop, oop, oop. And then you can just pop out these. You can also use your take your pick brush, die brush attachment, which actually I don't have yet. I need to get one of those. I don't have any. I don't have that at the minute. But you can get a little attachment that you pop on here onto this take your pick tool, and it brushes out all your bits from your dies. So that's genius. A bit like the old die brush we had, but a little smaller and mobile, so attaches to this, which is great. Okay, so that's our ornate frame, and then put my lid away, and then now we've cut the mummy out. Okay, and as I say, it's not a perfect match, but it's not bad, and we can just darken those edges down with a little bit of a daub. I'm just using the Memento here, so sort of blends in that white bit that's there from that. See, now you wouldn't even know. So that can go on there like that, and I thought we would silver the edges of this. Now you won't see the silver quite so much on the smoky slate as you did on the black, you know, like we did the bats on here. So it's not and the silver on the Wicked at the front. It won't be quite so obvious, but it is there, and it does look pretty cool. So if you didn't see last week's, you really must go and watch it. But if you didn't see it, this is the metallic pigment ink that we've got in the Delicata pigment ink, and we've got it in silver, gold and copper, which is just yum. But I'm really liking this silver one. Okay, so we'll just daub that. That's going to go on for the top there. That's going to go on top there of our coffin, like it's a little headstone piece kind of thing. And if we wanted to, we could put another little rim like that around there, but I quite like that. Now this one I'm going to cut out by hand because there's not a die that's sort of close enough to it. But again, you're just following the edges, so you can't really go wrong. Straight round here. So my idea was that on the front it's a mummy all wrapped up, and inside it's a skeleton. He's lost his bandages, or her bandages. One of them's definitely a girl. She's got eyelashes. I'm not quite sure how a skeleton ends up with eyelashes, but it's cute. Oh dear. I'm sure that my any of my murder mystery pathologists that I watch, you know, Silent Witness or Harrow or any of those, or any of the people from all of the murder mysteries that I watch, with the pathologists and people who do all the anthropologists' bones and all that kind of stuff would be going, I don't think a mummy actually can have eyelashes. But you know, it's fun. So then this was going to go on there like so. Alright, and then I wanted to just make it into like an invitation. So you could have you know, you could write this as an invite to somebody. Okay, so we'd pop her or him up here, and then I'm going to put the words celebration down here, and then that means that somebody could then, she says, there we go, already got it out, just haven't put it on a block yet, and then you could write, come and join me for a celebration, or you know, you're invited to come to our celebration, or it could be just a celebration of the Day of the Dead, you know, for some of your Mexican friends or whatever, you know, just depends on what you want to do. I might daub around the edge of this a little bit just to give that a little bit of a more of a graveyard feel. The other thing I thought about doing as well, actually, yeah, I did think about doing that, is the crackle stamp. The crackle stamp I think would look great for the outside or the inside of any kind of coffin, and birch would probably look really good with these as well. But the crackle paint one, I thought I could just, you just sort of want to daub this. You don't really want to get it too dark, especially not if you're doing if you're going to stamp on it and write on it. But you could just do a bit of crackle paint around, not even particularly, you know, just pretty randomly, just with a dauber, and then just do that with your piece of paper, and then lift, and then that looks pretty cool. That looks a bit sort of Halloween-y, doesn't it? Yeah, crackle paint is great. It's not just for weathering boards, people. Okay, so we'll stamp celebration in the middle of that. Down here, make sure it's low enough for her or him to fit in there. There we go. Celebration. A little crooked, but we'll cope. And then comes the bit where we put it all together. So here, from here on in, this is as simple or as difficult as you want to make it, really. You know, you could jazz it up with a bit more stuff on it, a bit more ribbon, some more the pearly things, but it depends on how many of these you're making. You know, if you're sending these out as invitations and you're going to send out 100 of them, you might, you know, just a thought, but you might not want to make them too complicated. But if you're just doing a few to a few close friends who are going to come around and have a bit of a Halloween party with you, then this is pretty cool. And you could even just you know, leave this to be on as a topper to a card. It doesn't even have to be like the actual card. You could put it on top of another card, so it just sort of showed as a little pop-up. When you open the card, you had this inside, sort of thing. It's up to you, but I quite like this, like so. A little bit of a black edge around it, nice. You could actually cut that out to be the one lower down if you wanted a bit more room for writing, but I'm not going to worry about that. But if you wanted a bit more space to write inside, then yes, I would probably cut down, you know, maybe to the outside of the white line and not have the frame around it, but that's okay. And then on the outside, we're going to attach this with dimensionals. There we go. A couple of those. And if you had the old narrow note cards, these would fit the envelopes perfectly, I believe. I should imagine, because they're about the right size, the old narrow note cards. But if not, you might have to make some note cards of your own. I'm not sure, shall I pop that up as well? We'll just leave it like that. I think he's quite cute like that. Now it is quite poppy because of the strength of the card and the because it's from a box, so the card's quite thick, and that makes the folds quite, you know, strong. I would recommend that you burnish it again as many times as you can, but also what you might want to do is just tie it. So you might have that, and then you might have some of the satin ribbon, some of the black satin ribbon, and you could just tie that in a knot here, like so. Or you could use white twine that you could dye white twine black, or if you've got any of our white twine from before, that would work. There we go. And the good thing about this is, because it's on a coffin shaped box card, you know what I mean, you can actually just slide this on and off very simply, so you don't have to undo the knot all the time. So that works really well, because it's definitely smaller at this end, and then you just slide it up until it catches and takes and bites, as it were. So thanks ever so much for watching. I really hope you like my two little coffins, one card, one box. And yeah, this was it was a quick video today, but hopefully you've seen, you know, just some of the things that you can do with this stamp set and this brilliant set of dies. So the stamp set is this one, Wonderfully Wicked, and the die set is the Wicked die, and then you get a little spider as well. So you get the Wicked and you get a little spider. So if you fancy doing any Halloween treats or invites or anything like that this year, and you need a stamp set to go to and something that just makes, you know, just a little bit different, then I cannot recommend enough these little coffin boxes and this bundle. So you get the stamps and the die in a bundle, 10% off. So grab all the details below, check out my blog, see what you think, let me know what you think. I love hearing from you. So yeah, thanks ever so much, and I will see you again soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.